Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Sabrena and Ben Real Estate Hour on this beautiful Tuesday here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, where we talk all things real estate, mortgages, community. We pretty much talk about anything you want to talk about, right?
Everything has to do with mortgages and real estate. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And we're going to take some calls today. So we got the phone line open. The number here is 423 800-8949. That's 800-8949. We're going to be taking calls all day. If you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home or want to know how to get in position to buy a home or how to get a mortgage, call us. We'd love to answer any of your questions, talk to you. What you got going on?
Yeah, maybe they just have a question about, their home and, getting it prepared to make it more valuable.
Exactly.
Isn't that what we're here for in life? We're trying to make our lives more valuable. Dream and homeownership is the American dream. I mean, that is what we are here to do, is to get that piece of land, build a nice little cute house with a picket fence and a backyard for your kids to enjoy. And, there's a lot of millennials out there that haven't purchased a home yet.
Well, they need to.
They do.
They need to. They need to stop making their landlord rich.
Well, the conspiracy's over. I mean, come on. I mean, you've got to live your life to the fullest. There just was a study here just a few months ago, and they did a study. They wanted to know if millennials were thinking differently than the previous generation.
Yeah.
And so they did this study expecting, the hypothesis, they're different. The millennials are different people. Well, guess what?
They're trying to make them different.
Yeah. Sometimes I think you're right on there. I think you got a good point.
Yeah, I think they're trying to manipulate them into being what they have a vision of them being. I don't really think they're like that, because if you sit down and talk to millennials, they're very smart, very impressive.
They've been saving their money. They've seen America go through the 2008 to 2013 recession, very significant recession. That is the first time I'd ever experienced that. I was a little kid when we went through the 1980, when interest rates were at 17%. Right. And that's the neat thing that millennials need to understand. First of all, about that study, 93% of millennials still wanted to have a home and have a wife and children, or a spouse and children. And it was the same percentage generation. So nothing has really changed, even though we all are sitting here going, what's changed? What's changed? Nothing's really changed that much. It's just the delayed action.
Right.
And what better time to take action than right now?
Right.
I mean, you've got interest rates not at 17% like back in 1980. So $100,000 a home, with the payment would be like, $1,700 a month.
Yeah.
Whereas now you're talking about $100,000 loan and the payment's about $500.
These kids are smart financially. I'm just telling you, they just need someone to take the time and explain it. As a parent, parents should be telling their kids, hey, who wants to make your landlord rich? You need to buy something, invest in something that's yours, that you can turn around and make money on one day, or move, or have a family. Maybe buy something bigger. We were sitting down with my youngest son this past weekend, and he's in his third year of engineering school. He's 23 years old. Actually, he's 22. 22. He acts like he's 32.
35.
Anyway, 22. But anyway, he's very conscientious about his grades, very responsible. But he was sitting down. He was just offered a really good job starting out with Shaw. And so he was having to go over his contract and stuff. It's all legit, having to sign a contract with him and stuff. So we were talking.
How exciting.
To him. Yeah, so he was telling us his plans. He's going to buy a house. Now, here's his plan. I think it's so smart. It's what my oldest son did. He's going to buy a house when he starts working. Not an apartment, buy a house. He's going to find two of his buddies to rent a room to. So they're going to pay his mortgage. Very smart. Then he started telling us, he started talking way over our heads about how he was going to get him a Roth IRA, and he was going to start investing his money and what he was going to do in the stock market and all this stuff. He's really thought this through. Lunch with him, and he just blew us away. So smart individuals, they have so much technology at their fingertips that they've grown up with. It's just secondhand nature to them that I didn't have.
Yeah, as long as they're not playing Pokemon.
Exactly. But I mean, they're responsible, and I'm telling you, it's a smart generation. They need to know what their options are, and that's where you and I come in, Ben.
Amen. That is where I come in. In fact, where we come in, and it's funny. to prove that they're smart. They're not just smart; they're healthy and they're athletic and they're doing it all. They're working out. They're staying in shape. They're social. They want to go enjoy a lot of time with their friends and family for that. And they can put their cell phones down for a few minutes and enjoy a good relationship face to face. I think the millennials are going to take this to a better future.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We need them to.
Well, they are definitely a group focus on in our industry. Another group I think we need to focus on in our industry are seniors, the baby boomers, because these people that have worked all their life, they've raised their family, they're in these big homes, they're looking to downsize, looking to enjoy retirement and sort of a simpler life.
Right.
That's another group that we really, really need to be focused on, helping them and going through their options. And you got to keep in mind, Ben, these are people that need educated too, because if you lived in the same house for 25 or 30 years, think about how long it's been since you've gone through the selling process or the buying process. Right. And those people need an expert to come in.
And with all the regulation changes, they think that lending is easy, just like back in the day. Well, you put 20% down, you just go and sign it.
Exactly.
And now there's 150 pages. And you know what? We have speaking of 100 pages, let's take this this first caller.
Okay.
Hello,
caller, go ahead.
For you. How do I know if I have the right real estate agent or I'm getting the right price for my house? I've bought and sold houses over the years. In one case, the real estate agent came in really low because they had trouble appraising. I put a hanger in, they had trouble appraising that, and they appraised it as a barn. And the comps were like 25 miles away, and it was really undervalued. But then when they were replaced, the right value was assessed. So how do I know, other than, they assess it for taxes?
Let me
what are the signs to show me that if I'm selling my house, which I'm looking at doing, how I'm going to get the right price?
You said that the house,
this market, but
you said the comps were 25 miles away, right?
Say that again.
You said the comps were about 25 miles away.
The comps were about 25 miles away. Yeah.
So that means that this home was way out in the country, correct?
Not really, but it was unique in what I had attached to my house. It was an airplane hangar. And the size of it, was almost commercial, but it was just, they had trouble, getting comps that were anywhere near what that was.
Well, that was probably very unique because if you have that kind of feature, that's not a feature that a lot of homes have. Undoubtedly. Now, ideally, if I'm comping a house, I'm going to look for comps that are within a mile. And I'm going to look at comps that have recently sold. I'm going to have to take into account any foreclosures. I'm also going to have to look at homes that are currently on the market and try to look at homes that are true comparables. In other words, if you have a one-story, I can't be comparing it to a two-story or a split foyer. But if you're out in the country or you're in a remote location or you have a unique feature, I've gone out on listings where they have like a runway, an airport runway. I mean, how often do you find that? So you have to, it's a little more challenging.
Yeah, that's going to be a significant adjustment if it has an airplane hangar, an airport hangar, so to speak. Think about that. That's sort of a business. Well, now it's not a single family residence. So now we're dealing with different.
Well, no, everyone there had one. I mean, it was a community, a flying community, but it just wasn't as large as this one. It didn't have the features, and that's what surprised me
and there were no sales.
There were houses all around it,
Yeah, well, one other thing is the period of time. So do you know about approximately what year this issue occurred?
You know what? That was right. That was the period of time. That was the problem, is the period of time that they sold. That's what they were saying. I remember that.
Yeah, so, comps on an appraisal is, first of all, an appraisal is, by definition, an opinion of value. So that opinion can change by a very small amount. Let's just say 5% from appraiser to appraiser. But the truth is, it's still an opinion of value. Now, that opinion has to be developed on a point scale that's like a calculation. And that calculation is still based on comps that are similar, like Sabrena just said. And, is it a single story? Is it a double story? Does it have a hangar? Does it not have a hangar? There's adjustments that are made, and they have to be reasonable.
I love hearing you guys talk about real estate. I mean, and I have one more question. I was very successful in selling a house where I actually got it appraised. I forget how much back then, maybe it was $300 or $400. The bank actually appraised it and said, this is how much we'll lend on this house with this much down.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that, and it sold in about 3 months.
Yeah.
That's what I did was I sold it myself. I didn't use it, but I'm not suggesting people do that. Don't work on your own car if you know what you're doing. I just had the time to do it. I don't know how you guys do it. You need a lot of time. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of paperwork. But I did the initial because I had the time. And I said, here's what the bank appraisal, here's how much they'll give you based on this, based on what they think the value of the house is. Is there ever a circumstance where you think that's a good idea, where you recommend that?
Well, it would be a situation like you just described with your property, because if I'm going out to a unique property and I know that I'm having a hard time finding comps, I've got some good relationships with appraisers because I have been in the business so long. I could probably reach out to one of them and they could give me some guidance. But for the most part, if you're dealing with an agent that is experienced and they're doing this full time, doing it for a living, they should be able to come up with a price that's very much in the ballpark
of the value of the actual value.
Exactly. I don't have problems. Usually when I'm comping a house, I can tell you, and I don't want to list a home that's overpriced because or underpriced. Our goal is always to get that maximum dollar for our seller because we're selling a service. We want our clients to be happy with us.
Okay.
But at the same time,
I have one more question for you.
You have to be realistic.
Why is real estate so high in Chattanooga? I mean, I've lived in other areas in Florida. You can get double the house for half the price.
Oh, that's
in other areas. Why is it so? I think it's probably one of the most expensive in the country. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I don't completely agree with you. First of all, caller, because I've just bought a home in Florida for $250 a square foot, and up here I can get a home for $90 a square foot, no problem. So maybe that answers that question.
And our median sales
Which part of Florida though? Where did you buy?
Yeah, it was near the beach, real close to the beach. Sure. But I mean, still $90 a square foot. I mean, we're not going to sit here on this radio show today and claim to be Florida real estate experts.
Okay.
But I will tell you the average home price in America per square foot is higher than Tennessee. So with that being said, the argument kind of stalls out right there.
Yeah, if you look at the national, our median sales price right now is $150, and if you look nationally, it's probably $250. It's probably $100,000 above that. So actually, homes are very affordable, and our property taxes are very affordable.
Very low. So if you look at our property taxes compared to, for example, I love to use Illinois as an example, because we obviously had a senator that became president there. So he did a great job making a few $100,000 home have $7,000 in taxes every year, when down here that same home would have about $1,200 to $1,500. That's one.
Well, the other benefits of Chattanooga are that you can't beat EPB. Cheap electric, great electric. You're not getting that anywhere in the country.
That's
internet
that's
and
a
the
good
taxes and just. I mean, to me, it's worth. I mean, you say it's not paying more for a house here just because of it being Chattanooga. There's many more benefits.
Yeah, heck, Hamilton County just was awarded recently in the last 12 months the #1 county to live in America. And the reason why is not just because of home values, which home values are good here, but it's also because of the logistics of the community, the schools.
Right.
The schools are ranked very high, especially the private schools.
Yeah.
And, frankly, to get from one side of the county to the other, it takes about 20 to 25 minutes when you're in any other place like Atlanta, it would take you 3 hours.
Well, quality of life
Well,
is really.
I've been here 4 years. Traffic bill. The government keeps up the population because I think this is going to for the next 10 years. It's just it seems as though the traffic is coming and the roads aren't being able to handle it.
Well,
that's another subject.
Okay, well, you bring up a good point.
Well, and that's something that our state legislature is looking at.
And we just had a meeting. We just talked about this last week.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the right. We're a pay-as-you-go state, as Sabrena has so many times said in this very.
And we're $6 billion backlogged in just infrastructure, which is mainly roads. And so that is something that our state representatives know going into the next session. They're going to have some serious conversations about and look at the gas tax. How long has it been since it's been increased? And two, they don't want to go in debt. I appreciate them for that.
Right.
but they're going to, they may have to think outside the box.
And there's some huge projects going on. I mean, they're not just like FedEx going up over there off of exit 7, but also the road on 27, Highway 27. There's some significant improvements being made there with new exits being done. So there is infrastructure being worked on. It's just not fast enough, is it, Sabrena?
No, that's true.
And thank God Chattanooga is more business friendly than most other cities. I hope that doesn't change. So.
Well, I can agree with that. It's got to change. The city has to grow. EPB is awesome. I agree with you 100% on that. But my business partner, for example, he's about 100 feet from the EPB line, and so he's stuck getting this, 7 megabytes per second, which this other company claims that is lightning speed fast, and that's all he can get. He can't even watch Netflix out there because it's impossible to watch because he's 100 feet from EPB because everything's wrapped up in cord all the time. And I want to go ahead
and to me, that's not free enterprise. That's monopoly. That's got to stop.
Well, if you want to talk about one conspiracy, there you go. There is always going to be a battle between profit.
EPB and Comcast.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we appreciate your call, and thanks so much. You know what? Guess what? I've got a little surprise for everybody. The next caller that calls in is going to get 2 tickets to a Tennessee Titans game coming up here in just a few weeks. So we'll see how fast that phone rings.
And that phone number is 800-8949, 800-8949. We are here to answer any of your real estate questions. If you have any questions about getting a mortgage, if you want to talk about anything going on in the community, call us 800-8949, and Ben's going to give those tickets to the second caller.
Yep, to the second caller. So, and you also have to know who is on air right now. So that's the pop quiz. If that's hard, then you don't really deserve the tickets, right? All right, so let's keep going. One of the things we wanted to talk to folks out there today is about some tips.
Yep, I have 13 tips for selling your home. And we were just talking about this with the last caller about how important it is to price your home, number one. But audit your agent's online marketing. Since 92% of home buyers are finding their home on the internet, you want to see what kind of online marketing your realtor's doing. What are they doing? Are they using social media? Are they, do they have a good website? So check that out. That's very, very important. You want to know what other websites they're going to be linked to. There's some popular ones, realtor.com, Zillow. Zillow's my least favorite, but for consumers,
I 100% agree with that.
For consumers, It's the go-to site, but for realtors, we know how inaccurate their information is, and we just beat our head up against the wall. Trulia is another popular website. So for a seller, you want to make sure you're going to have maximum internet presence. So you want to see what kind of online marketing your agent's doing. Something else you can do is you can post a video on YouTube of your home. Put a little nice music with it. Just walk through with the camera, kind of do like a virtual tour of your home. Do that on YouTube.
And that'll go straight to the top.
Make it go viral. Yep, that is key. More and more people are using YouTube for virtual tours, which is very smart. Let your neighbors choose their neighbors.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Some of these neighbors, you want them to stay in the house, don't you? You met that nosy neighbor that comes out when you're showing a home and they tell you everything you want to know and then some. It's unreal. And
one of my neighbors, I would love to get, we'll accept their food anytime.
Exactly.
The other neighbor, I wouldn't touch the food. I'd throw it in the garbage.
You better
not be listening. You better not be listening out there.
Facebook your home's listing. Promote it on Facebook. This doesn't cost anything. And you get such a large audience because so many people are on Facebook. Leave some good stuff behind. You can leave cookies, brownies.
But by the way, I want to go back to that Facebook thing real quick because this is really neat. When you post that your home is for sale on Facebook, first of all, that's your friends. You'll be surprised how many of your friends are actively looking or actively knowing someone else that's interested in buying that home. They reshare the pictures where you posted, hey, this is a picture of my home. It's for sale. It's in Ottawa. It's 4 bedrooms. It's $250,000. It's perfect for a family. It's got a fenced in backyard and a pool. If you just said that simple, you would have, if you did that today in Ottawa, I can tell you right now, you would have all these shares and all these call-ins and all these Facebook messages just really quick.
Oh yeah.
Food was hot.
And something else, you need to know your competition as a seller. You need to know what other homes you're competing with, because you want to make sure that you top them.
Walk in them.
Exactly.
Go through them.
Exactly. So many people pay attention to detail on the inside of the home. It's also important to stage the exterior of your home. That first impression is everything. When they pull up, walk up the sidewalk to the front door, so many people neglect the exterior because they're so focused on the interior.
Yep.
Need to pay attention to the exterior.
And speaking of exterior, Sabrena, we are going to paint the outside of our home. It's been green for 9 years, and I've had enough people say, "Oh, you need to paint your home." And I finally said, "You know what? I think it is time to paint that home." It's been 9 years, and we liked it. Green is not your everyday. We like being unique, but we're going to paint it white.
Yeah.
We're going to paint it white. It's a colonial. It's going to be sort of like I think it'll look like a Hamptons.
White will look good on the
colonial. Did you know that you can take a picture of your house, folks, and you can go on SherwinWilliams.com, and you can literally click their different paint colors. And I'm telling you, I will post mine on Facebook today. It blew my mind. I was like, I got excited about painting the house. Now, remember, this is a home show. So, Sabrena, who's a good painter in town? Do you have a go-to?
My husband.
Well, we were thinking about calling Painter Ready.
Yeah, Painter Ready. He's got a great
Brandon
reputation.
Lewis started that one here.
Yeah.
It's a good group of people.
Great reputation.
Good guys.
Somebody else has it now, but yeah, I'd certainly give them a call.
So we did. They're going to come out Friday, and then they said they're 3 weeks backed up. They're so busy.
Well, that's a good thing.
Which tells you that people are listening to our show because they're working on their home.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. They're getting ready to call us to come sell it.
That's right.
Access is essential. You want to make sure that you declutter, you depersonalize, and I'm kind of taking 3 of these and running them together. I've said this before on the show. When you have personal pictures out everywhere, people come in to look at your home. They get so focused on the pictures. They want to know, hey, do I know anybody in this photo? Whose house is this? And they're not even looking at the floor plan. You also have to be very serious about your pricing. I've already said get clued into your competition, and you better listen to your agent. It's a business relationship. You've got to listen to the professional that you've hired. And speaking of, Sabrena Realty would love to list your home. So if you're thinking about selling your home, you can call us at 423-499-7780. That's 499-7780. And if you're in the market to buy a home, there's only one lender I can think of that you should call.
Yeah, and I'm not biased or anything, but I do own HomeRate Mortgage, and we are a local company. We started local. Look, folks, my name is Ben Phillips, and I believe that I run a good business. I want to earn your business the right way. We're very proud to let you continue to shop because we believe we have the best deal, and we will guarantee it. So call us today at 423-805-9100. You've heard that number 1,000 times, but I'll say it again, 805-9100. You're going to be so glad you did. It's just 10 minutes. There's no obligation. So the only question is, why wouldn't you call? Hey, we'll be right back. I'm excited about our guest when we come back. It's a little bit of a surprise, but we'll see you right back. We got to pay the bills for a minute.
Exactly.
See you in a minute. And the bills are paid, folks. So we appreciate you waiting patiently as you're out from work and hanging out with us this hour. This is the Ben and the Sabrena and Ben home hour, and we're so glad to have you. This is 1240 a.m. Hot News Talk Radio, and folks, this show is all about homes, all about everything that has to do with homes, and that includes mortgage loans. And before we get our special guest on today, let's talk about mortgage loans getting denied and credit score and things like that.
Let's talk about that. So, when someone has been denied a home loan, and it's because of credit score.
And it happens.
Yeah, I know. I just want you to give sort of some advice, Ben, on what they can do, because it appears that a lot of people are denied because their credit score isn't high enough. And I was reading this report, and these aren't the figures that I've heard, and it may be different at your company, but it says to qualify for a conventional loan, you'll need at least a 620 credit score.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say that FHA loans require only a 580 credit score.
Okay.
Is that true?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
It's a guide. It's a guide. First of all, to answer the second part of that question, 660 for conventional is pretty much a hard line. Is there some not? I mean, conventional is conventional. It's Fannie, Freddie. We're selling directly through the portals. The biggest portal, 90% of all loans are sold through. So that's the biggest pipeline, and that's where you get stuff done. So you're gonna have to have a 660, and we really recommend 680. But you know,
I thought 620 was a little low.
But on FHA, 580 is correct.
Yeah.
580 is absolutely correct. So the point is, you know, most folks would want a conventional loan. I would want a conventional loan.
Yeah.
So
because you don't have the
680 is what you should shoot for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're above 680, please by all means keep it. 760 is a new line for premium financing. That is the best of the best, and we do plenty of folks that have 800 FICOs all day long. So
now this report goes on to say that in most cases, when someone has a low credit score, that there may be errors on their report. And it goes on to say that you can request and dispute different things on your credit, and that there's 30 days to get them removed, and then you can get the lender to do a rapid rescore.
That's right.
So I'm curious because you do a lot of loans, lot of loans. You're one of the busiest lenders I know in the business right now. Are you finding that common problems associated with a low credit score are errors, or are they really something that's going on with a person's credit?
You know, we all tend to have an error or two on our credit report. The truth of the matter is, the credit score is a very good assessment of the health of the individual. An error can impact you significantly, but in most cases we find that it is truthful where they are. So what we know is this: about 40% of folks are getting turned down for credit. It's kind of lessening as that score has gone down to a 580 score, which is kind of exciting for a lot of folks out there. But just because you have above a 580 doesn't mean you're going to get approved. So you've got to work on some of the issues related to that credit. And if you have a lower credit score and you can't get approved for your loan, we do have a rapid rescore model that we use in our office. It's free of charge for the service, and then for the actual rescore, there is a charge from the bureaus, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. They do charge for each bureau that gets corrected. So we can guide you through that at HomeRate Mortgage. We're happy to provide that free to the community. Bring your credit report in, show it to us. We will guide you through the the hills and valleys of looking at a credit report.
Now, you're not looking at doing a rapid rate score unless you're pretty positive that you're going to be able to get that score up, right? You're not going to even waste your time doing it unless you know that there's something that affecting that credit negatively that you can probably turn around, right?
Absolutely. But let me just say this. I've been doing this for 15 years now, looking at credit reports. We pull about 500 bureaus a month. We spend about $10,000 each month on credit bureaus at our company. It was a lot of loans. Now, with that, someone that looks at credit bureaus maybe 3 or 4 a month, then their experience is going to be limited. But we've built a system around 500 pulls per month. So many different credit reports that we sort of have a good library, if you will. Right. We sort of have this vault of we know what works and what doesn't work. But the truth is the ball is always changing. It's like a bird because regulations are changing. The credit scores are moving
constantly.
Right.
Constantly. So there's a lot to keep up with in the real estate industry and the mortgage industry. It is ever evolving, and that is very, very true, Ben.
But the most important evolving thing that you mentioned there is that people have to have faith. You have to believe that you can get there, that you can obtain. So, hey, we're going to take that next caller real quick, and bear with me 1 second. Go ahead.
Recently retired. My wife and I are thinking about downsizing. We've owned this home. The home was built in '78. and I'm wondering what do I need to update in order to get a quicker sale?
Okay, let me repeat your question first, and then I'll let Sabrina answer it. Retiring, correct?
That's correct. Have recently retired, correct.
Okay, and you are thinking about downsizing your home. Your home was built in 1978, and you're wondering what you need to do to prepare for that.
Yes, caller. Has your kitchen or any of your bathrooms been updated?
We have updated the kitchen with all new stainless and granite countertops, new cabinets.
So you have all stainless appliances, granite countertops in the kitchen. That's
awesome.
a plus. That's a plus. That's not something, if it weren't already done, that's probably not something I'd recommend you, just because it would be very hard to recoup all the money that it would cost you to do that. What about your bathrooms? Are they updated?
The bathroom and the main bath upstairs and the full bath downstairs have been updated. The master has not been.
Master has not been. Well, let me ask you this. Has it been a while since you painted the interior?
It's been a couple of years, not terribly long ago, but it's been a few years ago.
Area of town are you currently residing?
East Brainerd area.
East Brainerd.
Yeah, well, that's a hot market. So
just list it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sabrina's number,
we'll
499.
put a sign up today. No, honestly, what I recommend, and I use a very conservative approach with sellers, because it does cost so much to renovate or to remodel, and unless there's just something that is really going to have a negative impact on selling your home, I'm going to use a very cost-effective and conservative approach. If you haven't painted recently, I would put a fresh coat of paint and do a really nice neutral color that pretty much will go with anything. And when a buyer comes in, they can visualize sort of a warm neutral color that's inviting, nothing too loud. And I would use pretty much the same color throughout, just a nice neutral color. And if your flooring has not been cleaned, I would have your flooring cleaned. I don't know if you have carpet, hardwood. Make sure that your floors are really clean, your baseboards. Make sure that you've removed any spider webs, stuff like that. Flowers, fresh mulch outside, pressure washing. These are all very inexpensive things you can do that really spruce up the appeal. I would recommend you do. If your house is located in East Brainerd, that is a hot market. Everything's been selling very quickly. The key for you is going to do just those things to spruce it up, get the right agent, price it right, and then get ready to show. And, declutter as much as you can. If there's items you can box up to make your room look larger and just to help potential buyers have a better visualization of the floor plan, I would say go ahead and start boxing things up, because you're going to be moving anyway. So it's just going to make the job that much easier once you do get it under contract.
What is your first name, sir?
It's Bruce.
I'm sorry?
Bruce.
Okay. Bruce, if you'll stay on the line, congratulations. You just won 2 tickets to the Tennessee Titans game. And if you'll hang on for just a moment, we're going to get you to Mark here, and he's going to take down some more information. We're going to get you a free assessment, a free Sabrena, and she'll be able to help you potentially with your, possibly the listing of your home, and maybe even the downsizing of, that next purchase. I've got to brag on her a little bit. She just had some success where she took a contract and got it taken care of in one day.
Actually, 2 hours.
Yeah, it was less than a day. So, I mean, that's pretty incredible when that's how hot the market is right now. And, talk to her in private, and I think that'll be good. And also, I want to get you the tickets that you just won for the Tennessee Titans game. How does that sound?
All right. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Here's Mark. Bear with me 1 second.
And, Ben, you just hit on it. I mean, the market is just, it's unreal how busy it is right now. And, I've had buyers that are out there looking, and, if you find a home you like, you've got to act fast. If not, it's going to be gone. This is not a market where you can go home and sleep on it. You have to act, and you have to act fast. It's unreal. And in that situation you were just talking about, we actually went out to list the home, and I had actually gone out initially and did a free market analysis, talked to this lady about price. It's actually an estate. There's 3 other sisters involved. Really took the time to help price it appropriately. She wanted to do an appraisal in addition to that, which she did, and it was right in line with my comps. So we just put the house on the market. Well, I had contacted her after looking at it initially because I had a buyer in mind. You know, you're always thinking, you know, do I have a buyer that this home would suit their needs? And so
Right.
I was out there thinking about that, and I called her because I wanted to show it to this buyer, and they weren't ready. So she said, wait, let me talk to my sisters, blah, blah. So they ended up calling me back. I went out to list it. I said, okay, now I'm going to show it to this buyer right after we get it on the market. I called my buyer up, came out, looked at the house. We went back to my office, wrote up the offer. That is my Guinness Book of World Record moment right
awesome.
there. 2 hours, the house was under contract. And
Couple phone calls.
It took so long.
I mean, but that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And in many cases, and we've talked about this before on the show, you know, you submit an offer. Well, guess what? There's 2 or 3 other offers coming in on that same property. So you end up in a bidding war, which, I mean, that is great for sellers.
It really
And
is.
for people that are thinking about selling their home, I mean, now is the time. And the market's still moving.
And you can always say no. I mean, just make the phone call to Sabrena and just look into it. Maybe you're just thinking about selling, but you're not sure if you want to. Why not just make the phone call? I mean, that's what you're here for. You can talk to them, at least give them a good guide, and maybe it's 1 year, 2 year, maybe if it's even 3 years out. Don't think that we don't want to. I call it farm, and you know, a farmer toils the soil out in that hot sun and has to water the plant, and you know, it takes many months before you get a harvest. Out there, just like Sabrena and myself, we help people for free every day. Exactly. Don't hesitate to give us a call if you have a mortgage question. If you have a real estate question because you may be selling in the next 3 years, which a lot of us will be.
Exactly.
Just give her a call and talk to her. She'll answer that question in a way that will put you at ease. And that's exciting.
And if you're going to be selling and you know you're going to be repurchasing, the way things are selling right now, they need to be calling you too, Ben, because they need to be going ahead and looking and getting in the buying mode too, because their house is probably going to sell quickly in this market. They need to be ready to buy. Or there are for them, know which loan is going to best suit their needs, because I know you can tailor that loan is especially for them and to meet their financial needs. And what are the going rates right now? They're still low.
They're still in the 3s. We're doing 2% with an APR of about 3.1.
That is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable because where can you, if you think about it, rates were at 4.0 about a year ago, somewhere in there. Well, if you think about this, folks, the interest you're paying is the majority of that payment. Mm-hmm. So when you go from 4% to 3% and then 3% into the 2s, you're saving literally 25% of that interest. So where a payment used to be $1,200, if the majority of that $1,200, like $900 is interest, then about 25% of what's left over, which is $900, 25% is gone. So you saved over $200
exactly
on a normal loan here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, that's unreal.
$150 a month doesn't seem like much, but go look at your pay stub and look at how much taxes you get taken out.
Exactly.
I mean, it's, you know, on one paycheck, that's a big chunk of your taxes. Now, I'll take business for a long time.
Yeah.
We got on this radio show because we are experienced. We're successful at this. We know how to help people navigate through the home buying, home selling process.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to our special guest today.
Okay.
And you know,
Mark's here with us.
You know, I hear you talking to senators and congressmen and various figures in the community, mayors and road builders, and then home inspectors and appraisers and HVAC. And you interview these folks, and we get to know these folks, and we share these folks with the community, to help them with their home process. I want to switch the tables around. Sabrena Smedley.
Yeah.
I want to ask you some questions about your life. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, as long as you don't get too personal.
Well, I want to end up on this radio show, and first of all, I think the community wants to know where were you born? Just let's remind everybody.
Well, I was born in Chattanooga. I actually born at Erlanger Hospital. I've lived here. Yeah, I've lived here my whole life. Graduated from Ooltewah High School. Seems like yesterday.
Yeah, and you were a cheerleader, or
I was a cheerleader.
Okay. Well, I remember some things.
Yeah, but I climbed trees too. I wasn't afraid to play football or climb trees. I grew up with two brothers, so I always had to stay a step ahead of them.
We had a quick meeting this morning. I said, what did we do as children? We didn't have cell phones.
I know.
We didn't do that. So what did you climb trees? Is that what you did?
I climbed trees, rode bikes, got in the canoe, went around the pond. I mean, we did a lot of outdoor. We played outdoors. We go out. It says to 10 o'clock and stay out till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We were out there all day.
So you lived in Ooltewah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Ooltewah has changed tremendously too. I remember when there was nothing out there, nothing but an Ace Hardware. We didn't even have a grocery store. The Cream House and Ace Hardware.
That's right. So they had good cooking out there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I miss the Cream House.
That's awesome. So, so you graduated from Ooltewah High School.
I did.
Where'd you go to school?
Well, you say in college?
Yes.
Well, I actually have a bachelor's degree in business from Bryan College.
Okay. So you have in business, and then what came after that? Like what was next for you?
Well, now actually I had years ago I had a medical background. I did ultrasound, X-ray and ultrasound for a number of years, and wanted to get my real estate license. Real estate took off really, really fast for me. Within a year and a half, I had my own company. I was out with the kids, at the ball field. Everybody I knew, I was talking to them about selling their home, buying a home, and I was just very lucky that this industry took off very rapidly for me. When I got my license, I remember in August, I started with one of the local franchise real estate companies. In December, they named me Agent of the Month because I was just out there kicking it. And real estate took off so quickly for me that I had to transition out of the medical field altogether and into real estate full time, and then have my own company, which was all a God thing.
It had to be a year and a half, and you had your own company.
Yeah, it's been a blessing for me because I was a single mom for 10 years in real estate. I was very busy, had a very demanding schedule. However, I could, kind of schedule things to where I could be there for my kids when they had an event or an activity at school, which was very important.
Good work-life balance.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
very, very important to me. And so, anyway, I felt, I had all that education with the medical, and I wanted to kind of build off of that. So I ended up building off of that and switching it over to a business degree. So now I'm working on my master's at Bryan, doing it online during all my spare time.
And I will add, she wouldn't say this, but I'm going to. She has only made A's in college.
Wow.
That's it.
I only know one other person that's done that.
It ain't me.
It's not me.
I was lucky. Please don't hold me up to those standards. I was lucky.
So strong real estate agent by day, strong student, mother, and spouse by evening.
Yeah.
So you got a full-time gig.
I got a full-time gig. Never knew that politics was going to be in my future. Politics was never in my aspirations. Would have never dreamed I would be a county commissioner. It's just one of those things that happened from being involved in my community and being engaged in the process.
You were active in politics, but it was you helping other people in their races.
Exactly.
You never wanted your own race.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
So, so this commissioner thing. So you're an agent you've been an agent now for how long?
About 12 years.
The 12 years.
13 years.
So you've owned your own business for over about 10 years plus.
Exactly.
And then a few years ago, somebody, maybe the man upstairs knocking on your door, telling you to go into this commissioner race. What inspired you to do that?
Well,
Sabrena?
really,
that's a sacrifice.
As a realtor, I was always very heavily involved in property rights issues. I served on governmental affairs at the Association of Realtors. I've gone to Nashville a number of times, as well as Washington, just standing up for property rights, standing up for the mortgage interest deduction and things like that. just really standing up for my industry. And the property rights issue really got me involved in some situations and issues in my community where I've kind of got on the front lines for the people, so to speak, and fought for the people. So when the county commission seat came open, I had a number of people who I really, really value their advice. They reached out to me and said, hey, you've got to run for this. You got to run for this. Well, I can honestly say, had there been a candidate I could have gotten behind and supported, I would have done that. But I knew that we were a growing district, a lot of activity going on, a lot of zoning issues, traffic issues, infrastructure, crowded schools. I knew it was going to take someone that was going to be very engaged and that was not going to, be a person that thinks everything can be handled with a phone call. So, and I want to say hello to our friend Janice, who's listening to our show. She just recently listed her home with us in Hurricane Creek, and we just got it under contract last night. She's listening in. I want to give a shout out to Janice because she is listening, and I'm her county commissioner too. So
congratulations, Janice.
I'm loving it, Ben. I'm one of these. I got to stay busy, got to stay involved, and as long as I feel I'm having a positive impact on my community, I want to continue as long as I feel it's God's will for my life. And when I feel like I've served my time and it's time for someone else to take over the wheel, I'm going to step aside and let them do it. That may be you, Ben.
You'll pass the baton and pass it well, I'm sure.
That's right.
Well, folks, I'll tell you, Sabrena, I worked on her campaign, and I had to get to work, and this girl's a worker. She goes out and fights, and I'll tell you, I think that this community is a better place for having her, and her husband, Mark, who obviously is her right-hand man.
That's right.
Well, thank you for your support through the campaign. You were a good friend, big supporter, and
you're a great friend.
Provided an office for us. So
and you're a hard worker and a great lender and a great communicator. Always get back to me. And for anyone looking to get a mortgage, let's tell them how to get in touch with you, Ben.
Yeah, just give us a call, 423-805-9100. And I'll tell you what, your best friend in life, even when sometimes you don't have one, is the man upstairs. God will guide you. You just got to ask for help. And some days when it's not just perfect, you just got to have the faith and keep on going. That's the show today, folks. We'll see you next week. Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m.
Thank you.